Hey guys, welcome back to Medical Coding with Blue. So today's episode is all about my favorite things about being a medical coder, and I'm going to talk about bilateral diagnosis codes. So let's get started. So my favorite things about being a medical coder are, of course, naturally, if you've seen my other videos, I love doing the teaching. I love doing one-on-one coaching with my providers. I like doing documentation improvement classes with them. I like talking to them one-on-one. That's just my favorite part. I think if I did that all day, I'd be okay. But my second favorite thing is when I see a very unique note. And what I mean by that is like it's documented so well that it's just so unique, and what's going on with this patient is kind of rare, and they have the circumstances that all of these things are going on, and just the way that the provider is documenting it, and then all of these things that are being picked up, and then other things that I'm able to add because maybe the provider didn't pick it up and I see that they are eligible for credit for that. And those are like the perfect thing. When I see those, it's like I said, it's like seeing a unicorn, so I call it the unicorn notes. What I do is I have a folder for my unicorn notes. I have a good documents folder, and then I have one for bad documents too. Only because this serves as a very good visualization of what is considered good and what is considered bad. So don't worry, I always redact all the information, so there's no provider information on it, and there's no patient information, nothing that's identifiable. Everything is secured when I do this. So this way, when I am giving a class, sometimes in the past I've been asked, well, can you show us what is a good example of this, or what is it that you're looking for here? And even though I can explain it, sometimes if it's already documented and they can see it, they're like, oh, okay, well now this makes sense because this is done by one of their peers. This is actual real life documentation, and this is what it should look like. And this is what it shouldn't look like. So I also do that because, and it's not to call out anybody, it's just so that they know that this is wrong or this is incomplete. This is what incomplete documentation looks like. This is what bad documentation looks like. I think it's important to show both sides. So, and this helps not just the providers, but in the past I've had to do one-on-one classes with other coders who I trained to be in either the clinic that I'm in or I was in, or clinics that I know of. And this way I can show them, hey, this is what good documentation looks like. This is what bad documentation looks like. So it's just a valuable tool that I can have in my arsenal to be able to show that this is what we are looking for. It's always important to have good and bad. Anytime you are doing any kind of feedback too, you of course don't want to go to your provider and giving them all bad feedback. You want to be able to bring something positive too. And it's not to soften the blow, but it is to show that you are not just looking for bad things, because unfortunately sometimes there's people that are just looking for bad things, and you don't want to be one of those people. Again, every single interaction that you have with that provider is either going to build trust or is going to build distrust. So you always want to be on the side of building trust, because the more they trust you and the more they're willing to come to you if they have a question, the better off all of you will be. Because for sure, you're going to make sure that that provider is educated on their documentation and what they need to be able to capture everything that they're actually doing. So just something to think about when you are starting your interactions with providers. So I hope I haven't overwhelmed any students, but this is real life. This is what I go through. This is what I do on a daily basis. And I consider my providers extremely well trained. Their numbers show for it too. And the reason that it does is because I have such close contact with them to make sure that they're doing the right thing. Because sometimes even when I have to leave them for a little bit and take care of other clinics, I can see, what happens if I don't pay attention, But thankfully, that's always been every time it's been more improved. So, it is a good thing. It's a good thing to see when they can just do this on their own. So, the next thing I want to talk about is bilateral diagnosis codes. So sometimes there's really no rhyme or reason for why certain codes have a bilateral code and why others don't. I mean, unless somebody knows, because I have looked and I haven't seen any kind of rhyme or reason. But I noticed that a lot of neurological conditions have bilateral codes, like carpal tunnel syndrome and cubital tunnel syndrome. A lot of those kind of diagnoses, they have bilateral. They have like the left side, the right side, and then they have the bilateral code. So this is why I say it's very important to review your diagnosis book to make sure that you're looking in the section that your clinic is in, which if you're in a specialty clinic or even if you are in a family practice clinic. This way you can spot all the available diagnosis and you can have it in your mind, oh yes, there is a bilateral code for that, or there's not a bilateral code. Osteoarthritis is one that comes to mind of the knees, has a bilateral code. So, and then they have right and left. So, it just depends. But yeah, just make sure that you're taking a look at those and check them out. So that way that you can make sure that all these little detail things, you're still capturing them. And because sometimes if you're not working in an encoder, it's, you may not catch some of it. So, because at least with the encoder, that's the one good thing about the encoder. It's good and it's bad because I've slowed down on being able to look through the book. My speed used to be really high because I never worked with an encoder. But now that I have the encoder and everything just kind of pops up, so, oh well, what are you gonna do? So, but yes, anyway, so that was it. That's my video for today. I'm so glad and so thankful for y'all watching. One of my videos already has almost 1,000 views. I'm so excited and I want to thank everybody so much. And my subscriber count is going up and I'm like so excited. And so every time I get up in the morning, I'm like, ooh, I got more. So thank you so much. And I hope to continue to make a lot of informative and very candid videos so that you can know what it's like in the world of medical coding. So if you haven't subscribed yet, I talk about the fascinating world of medical coding as told by me, Bleu the Coder. And I've been a medical coder for just over 10 years, and I don't think that I would do anything else at this point because I love it so much. So, but anyway, if you like this video, please like and subscribe, share with your friends, and I will see y'all on the next video. Bye!